Just before midnight on June the 15th, 2018, a 23-year-old woman named Jermain Charlo walked out of an alley behind a bar called the Badlander in Missoula, Montana. She was wearing blue jeans, a white t-shirt, a brown Under Armour sweater, and cowboy boots. Security cameras captured her in the alley, talking and laughing with friends. Then she walked east, out of frame, and disappeared into the night. Her family knew something was wrong within hours. Jermain was the kind of person who never went quiet. She posted everything: photos, messages, updates. She was a mother to 2 young boys, aged 2 and 4. So when June 16th passed and her phone rang out to voicemail, and June 17th passed and she still hadn't texted anyone, her family didn't wonder. They knew. Jermain's mother called the tribal police on June 17th to report her missing. But because Jermain had disappeared in Missoula, jurisdiction didn't belong to the tribe. It belonged to the Missoula Police Department. And the family learned that a missing persons report couldn't be filed over the phone. It had to be done in person, at the station. So Jermain's aunt, Valenda Morigo, drove to Missoula and filed the report on June 20th, 4 days after her niece had vanished. 4 days. And then the wait began. Now, for context, Missoula, Montana, in 2018 had a documented problem. Indigenous people make up roughly 6% of Montana's population. But according to Missoula County Deputy Attorney Brittany Williams, they account for 24% of the state's active missing persons cases. 6% of the population, 24% of the missing. Williams was asked directly on camera whether she considered this an epidemic. She said yes. The first detective assigned to Jermain's case worked it briefly. Then he went on scheduled time off. It wasn't until June 26th that Detective Guy Baker was officially assigned to the case. 10 days. Jermain's family didn't wait for the police. They contacted a local organization called the Lifeguard Group, who mobilized volunteers to search fields, riverbanks, and remote areas on their own. The family put her face on a billboard on Highway 93 in Missoula, the main road into Missoula, and left it there for years. They organized candlelight vigils. They called in tips themselves. And still, Jermain was not found. 3 years passed. Jermain's phone, which had pinged a cell tower 14 miles north of Missoula in the early hours of June 16th in a rugged, heavily wooded area called Evara Hill, had never been found. Her ex-boyfriend, Michael DeFrance, the last person documented on camera walking with Jermain that night, told investigators he had driven her home and dropped her off near a friend's house. But he gave 2 different drop-off locations, 8 blocks apart. His own mother told investigators that Jermain had never shown up at their home. DeFrance had a history of domestic violence against Jermain. He was twice arrested for assault against her. And Evara Hill, the area where her phone last pinged, was exactly where DeFrance lived. Investigators have named no official suspect. The case remains open. DeFrance has not been charged in Jermain's disappearance. And for 3 years, the case stayed largely within Montana. A podcast, a few local news segments, a billboard on a highway that most people drove past without slowing down. Then, in September of 2021, a 22-year-old woman named Gabby Petito went missing in Wyoming, and the entire country stopped. Within 5 days, law enforcement had launched a full investigation. The FBI was involved. 50 law enforcement officers were deployed to search for her boyfriend. Grand Teton National Park was searched. Her body cam footage from an earlier traffic stop was released to the public within days. The hashtag #FindGabbyPetito accumulated over 700 million views on TikTok. Her remains were found on September 19th, 8 days after she was reported missing. 8 days. Jermain Charlo had been missing for over 3 years at that point. Her family was still putting up flyers, still waiting for callbacks. The reaction was immediate. Advocates, journalists, and researchers pointed to what was happening in real time as a documented, textbook example of what criminologists call missing white woman syndrome. The well-documented pattern in which missing persons cases involving young white women receive disproportionate media coverage, law enforcement resources, and public urgency, while cases involving women of color receive a fraction of that attention, regardless of the circumstances. In Wyoming alone, the same state where Petito's remains were found, over 700 indigenous people, primarily women, had been reported missing in the decade between 2011 and 2021. None of those cases had generated a fraction of the national response that Petito's did. The data is not subtle. A third of the nearly 290,000 girls and women reported missing in the United States in 2020 were black. Native American women experience violent crime at rates more than double the national average. Over 6,000 indigenous women are currently listed as missing nationwide. And researchers who study media coverage found that in Wyoming specifically, only 30% of indigenous female homicide victims receive any newspaper coverage at all, compared to 51% for white victims. When an indigenous woman is murdered in Wyoming, there's a 70% chance no newspaper will write a single word about it. The Gabby Petito case did produce one unintended consequence. The massive search operation mobilized to find her and Brian Laundrie led investigators to stumble upon the remains of 5 other missing persons. People whose disappearances had never generated any significant search effort. 5 people found as a side effect of looking for someone else. We do not know their names as well as we know hers. As for Jermain Charlo, her case was featured in Season 8 of Oxygen's Cold Justice in November of 2025, 7 years after she vanished. Cold Justice's team reviewed the files, recanvassed the bars, and confirmed cell data placing Jermain's phone in the Ivara Hill area in the early hours of June 16, 2018, the same area where DeFrance lived. The prosecutor agreed to refile charges. Detective Baker told the family he was confident in an imminent resolution. As of the time this video was made, no arrest had been made. Jermain's aunt, Valenda Morigo, still gets up every day not knowing where her niece is. Her boys were 2 and 4 when their mother walked out of that alley. They're in school now. And somewhere on Highway 93 in Montana, Jermain's face still stares from a billboard that her family put up because they had run out of other options, because they couldn't file a report over the phone, because the first detective went on vacation, because 10 days passed before anyone was really looking, because she was indigenous, and in this country, in this system, that meant the clock started later, the search started smaller, and the world looked away. That is not an accusation.
It is a documented, verified, statistically confirmed pattern that researchers, prosecutors, and advocates have been publishing studies about for decades. We just keep deciding it isn't urgent enough to change.
So that's going to do it. If you got something out of today's story, and you want to understand not just what happened, but the systems that allowed it to happen, the psychology, the data, the forensic reality behind these patterns, that's exactly what this channel is built for. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. If you have any information about Jermain Charlo's disappearance, contact Detective Guy Baker at the Missoula Police Department. His case line is active. Thank you. Until next time, see you.